Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashranvannotibhis Sadanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Dear friends, at the outset I apologize to those listeners who have been regularly listening to my classes, because I was away for about 2 months, and after 2 months we are resuming the class. 2 months ago when I stopped, we were just in the introductory bhashyam for this Panchamodhyaya, that is Panchamadhyaya, that is the 5th chapter. This Panchamadhyaya, this introduction I explained in fairly great detail. We were just seeing, just to recapitulate, we saw a few points. So there is what is told karma in Gita, which is told in Gita, karma sannyasa, which is told in Gita, who has to do karma and who is eligible for karma sannyasa, and whose karma sannyasa is superior to whose karma yoga, and whose karma yoga is superior to whose karma sannyasa. So this sort of discussion was going on in the 5th chapter, in the beginning of the 5th chapter. So say in the first few chapters, we have very clearly seen that Jnana Nishtha is something which is prescribed for the Sankhyas, that is for those who want to pursue the path of knowledge. Jnana Nishtha, Sankhya Nishtha, that is what has been told. Then for those who want to pursue the path of action, for them this Karma Yoga, that is what is prescribed. What should be your attitude to action? That is what is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means what is our attitude to action, with what attitude you are going about doing your daily action. So that is the action, that is these 2 points have been told. And we have also seen that Jnana Yoga is something which is the most desired thing, that is the ultimate objective. Because Jnana Nishtha, ultimately understanding one's own self, so that is the only way to moksha, and not Karma Yoga alone. Karma Yoga is only a tool. Karma Yoga is only a sadhanam. Karma Yoga is a sort of disciplining agent, let us say, a sort of disciplining exercise, let us say. So after undergoing this disciplining exercise, one has to again concentrate, one has to again do some more exercises for self-control, that Shama, etc., Shama Adi Shatka Sampatti, we have learnt about it. And after that we have to do some Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam and whatnot. After that, when you settle down in that Nididhyasanam, then that is the stage where you you are stationed in your own self, that is Atmasthaha, that is one who is settled in his own self. So Atma Swarupe Avasthanam, that is what we have seen. So that is that Jnana Nishtha. So we have seen these 2 things. And then we have seen that in the case of Kamya Karma, what is the attitude of a person? In the case of a Karma Yoga, what is the attitude? In the case of a Jnani who is doing a Karma, what is his attitude? We have seen that. I was explaining one point. In the case of Kamya Karma, there are 3 things. That is, Karma is there. Then Kartrutva Bhavana is there. Kartrutva Bhavana means I am the doer. So that sort of, that feeling of I is there. That ego, the self is very much there. And Bhoktrutva Bhavana, naturally when that Kartrutva Bhavana is there, then Bhoktrutva Bhavana, I am the enjoyer, I am the doer and I am the enjoyer. All the 3 things are there in a Kamya Karma, where you are performing an action with an intention to get the fruit of that action. Then we have seen the Nishkama Karma or Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, you are doing it as an offering to the Lord, as an offering to the humanity, as an order from the Lord, as a duty, as part of your dharma. But then still that I feeling is there. So in Nishkama Karma, there is a karma, that means there is an action, there is also a doer. That I feeling is there, but then Bhoktrutva is not there, because he has given up, Phala Kanksha he has given up, the desire for the fruit of action he has given up. He is doing it as a sort of duty. So that is it. Of course, When you talk about some secular duties, you are still coming to office, you may draw your salary, but then you are doing it as more as a duty and more as your service, more as a sort of part of your dharma. So that is what is karma yoga. Then when you come to jnani has, we have seen, he has got two options. One is he can do sarva karma sannyasa, that is, he can just be confined to sharira yatra matra chesta. We have that one such phrase we saw, that is sharira yatra matra chesta means performing only those actions which are just required to keep up his daily core, daily routine. So that's all. Just he has to get up, wash his, brush his teeth, just have some food, he has to do some bhikshatanam, and in the process of bhikshatanam he will be just telling certain things to the people who give some bhiksha. So by his example, his own life is an example to all others. By his example, he is teaching certain values to the people. So that is the sarva karma sannyasa. He is not there out to teach. He has no institution, he has no ashrama, he has no establishment, etc. Then he has another option, jnani. He has some dharma. Suppose a King Janaka is there, King Lord Rama is there. So those people who have not who have not gone into the ashrama sannyasa, and then who have got a duty to perform, and then still as a jnani he is performing his action, then it becomes akarma. We have seen that a person, karmanya karmayah pashyet, in that shloka we have seen that is called akarma. In other words, karma abhavaha. Abhava means absence. Karma abhavaha means karmanaha abhavaha, the absence of karma. Even if he is doing a karma, it is called karma abhava because he is a jnani. So these points I explained. Then sannyasa again, I was telling that it is of two types. One is vidvat sannyasa. The other thing is vividisha sannyasa. Vidvat sannyasa, we need not be afraid of the words. The meaning is, vidvat sannyasa means a jnani. After that, jnani means a person who has realized his self, an enlightened person. He automatically takes, as I was telling you, he has two options. One is to take up sannyasa, one is to continue action. But then that is, if in case he takes up sannyasa, that sannyasa is called vidvat sannyasa. A jnani taking up sannyasa, that is sarva karma sannyasa, that is called vidvat sannyasa. Vidvat means after proper understanding, after proper realization. That is vidvan. He is a man who has realized his self. So that is vidvat sannyasa. The second is vividisha. Vividisha, the meaning of vividisha is desire to reach that stage. Desire to, vividisha means vetum ichha vividisha. That is the desire to know, desire to acquire that knowledge, desire to attain that status. That is what is called vividisha. So this vividisha sannyasam is of another type. So this vividisha sannyasam also is possible in case of when in the first shloka of this Panchamadhyaya, where Arjuna is asking sannyasam karmanam Krishna punar yogam cha shamsasi. That has been his doubt. You are commending sannyasa on one hand, and again you are commending yoga. So in the case, that is the doubt of Arjuna. But then Arjuna, probably he got this doubt because there are two types of sannyasa which are possible. One is a sannyasa of a jnani, and the second is sannyasa of an ajnani. Ajnani means we need not call them totally ignorant or anything like that. A person of improper understanding, a person of erroneous understanding. So that is what is an ajnani. So in fact, many of the people who take up sannyasa, they do take up sannyasa feeling that it okay, sannyasa ashrama is something which is superior, sannyasa ashrama is something which is great. There is a sort of value attached to that. So in modern terms, if we want to use a modern term, there is a sort of snob value attached to that sannyasa. In Sanskrit, they call it shobhanadhyasa. Shobhanadhyasa means a sort of snob value. You know the word snob value? That is something which is called something which is really great. If I am a sannyasi, I wear some saffron robes, and then everybody will touch my feet. Recently, when I was away for 2 months in America, some of my friends were saying that some of these swamis who go from India, they just go and then they're America poor people. Poor means our own Indians, not poor, not in terms of money, but poor people in the sense that they are the people who respect everybody who comes from India. They feel that everybody who comes from India is such an enlightened man or a jnani or a very God man. So some Swamis, they just stretch their feet and then they sit. And then the devotees, they come and then they wash their feet and then pour that water on their heads. So this type of stories they were saying. And some Swamis, they just stretch their feet and then they keep talking on cell phone. Another Swami, they said, he says, no, you are all very fortunate, you are all here. Otherwise in India, people will be waiting for me outside. Lakhs of people will be waiting for me outside. Here you are only some 25-30 people. I am giving special darshan to all of you. You are especially lucky. So they are certainly not the people who have studied Gita Bhashyam. Somebody who reads Gita Bhashyam, he will never do that. Or Swami Tattvavidananda or somebody, he will never do that. There are some other Swamis who do not bother for Gita Bhashyam. But then they go and stretch their feet, they get their feet washed and then all these things are done. So this is something which is atrocious. So that they do that, they have taken up sannyasa because of this shobhanadhyasa, because of this snob value attached to that in the society. Because the sannyasi means kashaya dandamatrena yatih pujyo na samshayah. The mere fact that this man is having a kashayam and a dandam, he becomes a pujya, he becomes a highly respected man. So in fact, I was advising them, if you want to test a Swamiji, if you want to test a Guru, you kindly give him some Gita text and then ask him to read out some shloka and ask him to explain that. If he is able to explain to you the meaning of some shloka, suppose you take up some shloka and then you ask him, Swamiji, what is this karmanya karmayah pasyed akarmanisha karmayah? You see action in inaction and inaction in action. So suppose he is able to read that shloka and he is able to explain, then you please listen to him. Otherwise, you listen to him, you take whatever he says with a pinch of salt. You have to do your own. So that is what is the advice I could give. So this sort of sannyasa is called vividisha sannyasa. That is sannyasa which is adopted for the sake of say the value attached to that, or he may be really interested also. I need not say that all people are say who have just taken up sannyasa as a business. You need not say. Somebody may be really curious. Suppose a person who really wants to be in that jnana nishtha, as a preparatory step, this vividisha sannyasa is actually meant to be a sort of preparatory step for the the next step, that is the final step called jnana nishtha. So this vividisha sannyasa is again one possibility. Then the question of Arjuna is, that is karma sannyasa with atma jnana. That is something which is the highest. There is no doubt. Your mind is very clear about it. Karma sannyasa with atma jnana is the highest goal. Then karma sannyasa without atma jnana can also be there, provided the man is very seriously interested in that. Then karma yoga is at another level. So Arjuna's question is whether karma yoga is superior or whether karma sannyasa is superior. Then we have understood the question, what is in the mind of Arjuna? Because Arjuna is having two types of sannyasa in mind. One is a vidvas sannyasa and one is a vividisha sannyasa. So we have to take the question to mean that what is to mean like this. Which is superior? Is karma yoga superior or is karma sannyasa of a anatmagnya, that is an unrealized person? Karma sannyasa of an unrealized person, is it superior? So now you yourself tell me which is superior. That is what karma yoga is superior. That is what Lord Krishna has been saying in this. So karma yoga is superior means karma yoga, at least it is disciplining you. It is a sort of disciplining procedure. It is a discipline. Karma yoga is a sort of disciplining procedure. After that you take up this shama, dama, etc. And after that this is a step-by-step progress to moksha. And then moreover, Krishna also is keeping in mind who is the listener. The listener here is a kshatriya. And this is being taught, Gita is being taught not to a sannyasi, not to somebody who is some 80-year-old and then who is, at that time, at that late stage, he gets some, say feels repentant about why I have not done anything, any good deed in life. So people feel repentant after 70s. So Krishna is not speaking to such a person. Krishna is speaking to a warrior on the battlefield who has got a duty, who has got a dharma, a kshatriya dharma. So for him, keeping all these things in mind, Krishna is saying karma yoga is superior. So that is it. So karma yoga is certainly not superior to karma sannyasa of a jnani. But karma yoga is superior to or preferable to karma sannyasa of an anatmagnya. So that is the overall meaning. So that is where we are. And then we were reading these lines. I think we stopped at a place called Keshu Keshu. Where is that? Yes. Keshu Keshu Punaha Atmaswarupana Nirupana Pradesheshu. This also we read. I will again read. Keshu Keshu Punaha Atmaswarupa Nirupana Pradesheshu Atmavidaha Karma Bhavaha Pratipadyate iti. So Purva Pakshi has got a question. Okay, you are saying that Karma Atmavit is having Karma Bhava. That is, Atmavit means a jnani has no karma. Karma Bhava means absence of karma. Where are those examples? You please tell me. Give me those examples, he says. Then Shankara, he gives a reply. There are, what is this? Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvavidam tatam. He has quoted that line. Yayenam vetti hantaram yasyenam manyate hatam. He has quoted that 2-19. Then again, Veda vinashinam nityam yayenam ajamavyayam 2-21. All these things he said. Ityadau tatra atmavidaha karma bhavaha uchyate. For a jnani, there is total absence of action. So that is what he said. Then Purva Pakshi again says, okay, you may say that karma bhava has been told. But I have also heard Gita, I have also followed Gita. There are some other places where karma also is advocated. Lord Krishna is also advocating karma. So he is saying, Nanucha karma yogopi atmaswarupana nirupana pradesheshu tatra tatra pratipadyata eva. This line also we read. Here and there, Lord Krishna has also advocated karma yoga. What are those lines? Tasmad yudhyasva bharata. What is that line? Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. So he is saying that is 2-18. Antavanta ime dehaha, that is 2nd chapter 18. Then swadharmam apichavekshya. Then swadharmam apichavekshya navikampitum arhasi. It is your duty. Swadharma. What is swadharma? Arjuna being a kshatriya, his duty is to protect the society. Shatat trayate iti kshatriya. That is one who protects people from getting hurt, one who protects the people from being attacked, from being assailed. So that is what is kshatriya dharma. So that is swadharma vipichavekshya. That is 2nd chapter 31st shloka. Then 2nd chapter 47th shloka, karmanyevadhikaraste. That is again one famous shloka which we have seen. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That is again I explained that shloka. So in all these places, Arjuna, Lord Krishna has also advocated karma. Then how can you say that karma yoga is, how can you say that? Say only karma bhava is there. Atasya katham atmavidaha karmayogasya asambhavah syat. Karma yoga, how do you say that karma yoga is not appropriate for an atmavit? Atmajnani also is supposed to do karma yoga. So that is a small purva paksha. Then atrochyate. I think we have to start from here, isn't it? That line also is over. Atrochyate samyajnana mithyajnana tatkarya virodhat. I think we have to start from here. So, samyajnanasya karyam, mithyajnanasya karyam, dvayoho virodhaha. That is what he says. Samyajnana means a proper understanding. Samyajnana is proper understanding. What is proper understanding? Proper understanding is that this Atma, as we call it, the self as we call it, it is neither a karta nor a bhokta. It neither kills nor gets killed. Na hanti na hanyate. All these things which he said, Veda vinashinam nityam, antavanta ime deha, all these things, that is the proper understanding. That is, a person is, I am not the karta, I am not the bhokta. Then who is the karta? You are doing all actions and you say, who is the karta? You have distanced yourself from this body-mind complex. The body, all these pancha kosha, we have seen the human being as consisting of these pancha koshas. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya koshas. All these koshas, one by one, they get rejected. That is what is called pancha kosha pravilapa. Pravilapa means realizing that first of all the body is not myself, realizing that the prana system is not myself, realizing that this vijnanamaya kosha is not myself, realizing that anandamaya kosha is not myself, pure ananda is myself. So this is that is the gradual stage in which you reject all these things which can be seen. You see your own body, you see your own prana, you see your own mind, you see your own ego. So that is how you transcend one by one, you cross all these things. So then who are you? I am that Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhava. I am that pure Chaitanya. So you become a witness, you become just a witness to what all your body-mind complex is doing. So that is what he is going to say also. So that is what is the stage of I. I means that Shuddha Chaitanya, which is a witness to what all goes on in the body. A Kshatriya, a King Janaka, he may be performing his royal duties, he may be giving some sentence, a death sentence to somebody, or he may be rewarding somebody, or he may be doing some other Shastra discussion, but then he is a witness to what all he is doing. He is not involved in that. He is a witness. He as a Shuddha Chaitanya, he is a witness to what all his body-mind complex is doing. So that is what is the things, that is what is Samyak Jnana. Then Mithya Jnana is that identification of that I with the mind, identification of the I with that ego. That I means that Shuddha Chaitanya, instead of realizing that you are that Shuddha Chaitanya, you are feeling that I am this, I belong to this particular varna, I belong to this particular stage, I am a king, I am a Kshatriya, I am this, that. All this identity, what we call identity, a social identity, that is Mithya Jnana. So that is what we have seen in the context of philosophy. When you go down to the road, our context will be, we are in a Vyavaharika Satya. When you are on the street, naturally you are in a Vyavaharika Satya, but when we are discussing Vedanta, we have to discuss at an absolute level. Then, Samyajnana, Mithyajnana, Tat Karya Virodhat. Samyajnanasya Karyam. What is Samyajnanasya Karyam? A proper understanding. Then Mithyajnana Karyam is an improper understanding. These two are opposed to each other. Then let us read Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Ityanena Sankhyanam Atmatattva Vidam Anatma Vitkartruka Karma Yoga Nishtataha Nishkriyatma Swarupavasthana Lakshanayah
Nishkriyatma Swarupavasthana Lakshanayah
Jnana Yoga Nishthayaha Pruthak Karanat. So he says, two things have been properly distinguished in Gita so far. What is that? That is, one is Atma Tattva Vidam Anatma Vitkartruka Karma Yoga Nishtataha. So Karma Yoga Nishtha is something which is kept in one place, identified, which has been well defined, which is said, okay, this is what is Karma Yoga. We have seen all the facets of Karma Yoga. Then he has distinguished from this Jnana Yoga. So he is giving some adjectives for this. He is describing this in this sentence. He is just giving some adjectives for that. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. This is the third chapter. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Sankhya Yogena Yoginam. Karma Yogena Yoginam. That is the third chapter. So, Ityanena, by that, Sankhyanam means of the Jnanis, of the realized persons, Atma Tattva Vidam. Atma Tattva Vidam also means the same thing for the in the case of Jnanis. Anatma Vitruka Karma Yoga Nishtataha Pruthak Karanat. Anatma Vitkartruka. Then Karma Yoga Nishtha is something which is done by an Anatma Vit. That also we have seen. Karma Yoga, no doubt, is a commendable step. It is much better than Kamya Karma. Kamya Karma is there on one hand. Karma Yoga is there, which is a superior stage. But still, it is at the level of Ajnana only. Karma Yoga does not mean he is a Jnani. Karma Yoga is still at the level of Anatma Vitkartruka. He has not fully realized himself. He is still having that I feeling, that Kartrutva Bhavana is there. So, all said and done, though it is a good practice, though it is a good path, it is still at a secondary level. It is not the final level. Then Karma Yoga Nishtataha, Nishtataha means from that other thing has been distinguished. From A, something else has been distinguished. So that is the meaning of this line. Construction. Nishtataha means that is in the Panchami Vibhakti. From that, the other thing is distinguished. Karma Nishtataha, from this, what has been distinguished? Nishkriyatma Swarupavasthana Lakshanaya Jnana Yoga Nishtaya. This Jnana Yoga Nishtha is characterized by what? Characterized by Nishkriyatma Swarupa Avasthanam. That is its Lakshanam. Nishkriyatma Swarupa Avasthanam. What does it mean? Atma is there. Atma means self. Nishkriya. Nishkriya is Nirgataha Sarvaha Kriyaha. Nirgataha. That is all this karma, pure karma abhava. All karmas have disappeared from this Atma. So which means he is in a state of realization where he does not have any karma bandha. So Nishkriyatma Swarupa Avasthanam. Avasthanam means to be stationed in that position. Nishkriyatma Swarupa Avasthana Lakshanaya. Lakshanam means that is a characteristic. So that what is the Jnana Yoga Nishtaya. So Jnana Yoga Nishtha is characterized by say a state where a person is staying in a state of awareness, a sort of space-like awareness where he is having no action, he is having no attachment with any action, he is having no karma bandha. So that is Nishkriya Atma Swarupam. So Atma is something which has no karma, no kartrutvam, no karma, no bhoktrutvam. So that is what is the meaning here. You understood this line? Nishkriyatma Swarupa Lakshanaya Karma Yoga Jnana Yoga Nishthayaha Pruthak Karanat. Pruthak means separate. Pruthak is separate. Pruthak Karanam means distinguishing. Pruthak Karanam is distinguishing. So this Jnana Yoga Nishtha has been distinguished from the Karma Yoga, which is the duty of an Anatmagnya. So Karma Anatmagnya, if we go back to the first line, Samyagjnana, Mithyajnana, Karya Virodha, Tatkarya Virodha. So Samyagjnanasya Karyam is Jnana Nishtha. Jnana Nishtha means staying in that Nishkriyatma Swarupa Nishtha. Then Anatma, what is this? Mithyajnana Karyam. What is this Mithyajnana Karyam? That is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means where you are still having this Kartrutva Bhavana. So that is the meaning of this line. Nishkriyatma Pruthak Karanat. Okay. Next line. Krutakrutyattvena Atmavidaha Prayojanantara Bhavat. So he says Atmavit, he is using another word, Krutakrutyaha. We have seen this word also. Atmavit means a jnani, a realized person. He is also a Krutakrutya. What is the meaning of Krutakrutya? I think I told you also. Krutam Krutyam Yena Sa Krutakrutyaha. So that means he has no further thing to do. He has completed all actions. He has nothing further to do. So what is the final thing which a person has to do? What is the final goal? The final goal of a human being is to know his real nature. So he has understood it. Once he has understood it, there is nothing else to do. He is stationed in that position of awareness. He is stationed himself in that position of Shuddha Chaitanya. Once he is in that position, then there is nothing further for him to do. Is it clear?
Yes.
So that is what is Krutakrutyatvam. Krutakrutyam means that is he has completed all he has to complete. All he has to complete is to know his self. That he has completed. That means he has no further action to do. Even if he does something that becomes akarma in his case, that karma it does not belong to him. That becomes totally say that karma bandha will not be there for him. Krutakrutyattvena Atmavidaha Prayojanantara Abhavat. Prayojanantaram means Prayojana Antaram. Another karma, another prayojanam. There is no further use of it. For Atmavit, there is no further use of any karma. There is no further use, there is no further use of any other karma. So that is the Krutakrutyatvam. Then Tasya Karyam Navidyate iti
Tasya Karyam Navidyate iti
Kartavyantara Abhava Vachanacha.
Kartavyantara Abhava Vachanacha.
So Kartavyantarasya Abhavaha. That is absence of any other duty in his case. That is because this man, the other shloka also says Tasya Karyam Navidyate. What is the reference given? Tasya Karyam Navidyate.
3
3?
3-17.
Not 1.
17.
Huh?
17.
17, you tell me like that. Yeah, that is 3-17. So this is Tasya Karyam Na Vidyate. This shloka also we have seen. Tasya Karyam Na Vidyate means he has no further action to do. Then next line, Na Karmana Manarambhat
न कर्मणा मनारंभात्
Sanyasastu Mahabaho
संन्यासस्तु महाबाहो
Dukkam Aptum Ayogataha
दुःखमाप्तुमयोगतः
Ityadina cha
च
Atmajnanangatvena
आत्मज्ञानांगत्वेन
Karmayogasya Vidhanat.
कर्मयोगस्य विधानात्.
This is again what we know. Karma Yoga, we know it is an Atmajnanasya Angam. Angam means Anga. Angam means it is only a limb. Anga means a limb. Suppose a human body is there. Hand is an Angam. Head is an Anga. Ear is an Angam. The leg is an Angam. So like that, these are all Anga. These are all limbs. Then what is the body as a whole called? It is called Angi. In Telugu we use the word Angi for this shirt. But Angi actually is a Sanskrit word which means Angi means one which has limbs is called Angi. One who has Anga is called Angi. That one which has got limbs. That is a whole entity which is having so many limbs is called an Angi. So Angi is, what is this? Atma Jnana. Then Angam is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is only a tool. Karma Yoga is only one aspect. It is only one thing which leads to this thing. But Karma Yoga is not superior. Karma Yoga is useful. It is useful as a tool. But then Karma Yoga, it is only a part or it is only an external part. A Bahiranga Sadhanam it is called. It is only a sort of process for this Jnana Nishtha. So that is what he is saying here. Na karmana manarambhat. What is that shloka? Na karmana manarambhat naishkarmyam purushosnute. So by merely stopping all actions, you are not going to get naishkarmya siddhi. That is what we have seen in the third adhyaya. Then sannyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptum ayogataha. So sannyasa is very difficult to be attained unless followed by karma yoga. So this has been told like that. Karma yoga has been told. Na karmana manarambhat naishkarmyam purushosnute is one shloka. Then sannyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptum ayogataha. That also has been told. What is told there? It is not about the importance of karma yoga. Karma yoga is no doubt to some extent important. But it is not about the supremacy of Karma Yoga, or Karma Yoga is not something which is prescribed for a jnani. Karma Yoga is only a tool. Karma Yoga is not prescribed for a jnani. Once you attain that stage, Karma Yoga may be required. But once you attain that stage, Karma Yoga drops off. So it is like that. Then, Karma Yoga Atmajnana Angatvena Karma Yogasya Vidhanat. So Karma Yoga is something which is prescribed. Karma Yogasya Vidhanat means Karma Yoga is Vidhi. Vidhi, what is Vidhi? Vidhi means a prescription. Vidhanat means because it has been prescribed. Vidhi is prescription. Vidhanat means because it has been prescribed. So that is why that line has to be understood. Karma Yoga se Vidhanat. Karma Yoga has been prescribed as a limb or as a sort of a process for this Jnana Yoga. So that is the line. Then Yoga Rudhasya Tasyaiva Shamah Karanam Uchyate Ityanena cha Utpanna Samyak Darshanasya Karma Yoga Bhava Vachanat. So then Utpanna Samyak Darshana. Who is this Utpanna Samyak Darshana? One who has reached that stage of Samyak Darshana. One who has reached that stage of Samyak Darshana, then for him, then what is the use of this Karma Yoga? There is no need for Karma Yoga. Then here he is quoting a line from 6th chapter. We have not yet come to that. 6th chapter, 3rd shloka. Yoga Rudasya Tasyaiva Shamah Karanam Uchyate. So there Lord Krishna is introducing two words. Yogam Arurukshuhu, Yoga Arudhaha. He is using two words. There by the word Yoga, he is referring to Dhyana Yoga or otherwise called Atma Sanyama Yoga. So we have seen that Gita is telling us, giving us a sort of step-by-step description or step-by-step process for attaining that Jnana Nishtha. Gita is basically telling us, okay, for somebody who is qualified for karma yoga, this is your level. Somebody who is going beyond that, okay, you go to this, from karma yoga, you go to this dhyana yoga level. Then from that dhyana yoga level, you go to another level that is called jnana yoga. So this level, step by step, Gita is actually giving a sort of step by step description of various stages. And we have to find where we are and where we fit in actually. So in the case of Arjuna, it is karma yoga which has been prescribed. But then he is in the process of discussion, he is also giving details of all other types, because there is a fairly long discussion which is going on. In this discussion, he is also telling about other steps. So in this thing, he is using two words, yoga arudhaha and yoga marurukshuhu. Then I was telling about this dhyana yoga. Dhyana yoga is slightly different from karma yoga. Karma yoga is somebody which anybody can do, you and I can do. What all we need is that some sincerity of mind, basic sincerity, where we understand that what we are doing is as an offering to the society, as a part of our dharma, as an order from the Lord. It is something nishkama karma. I don't want any of the fruit of this particular action. I am doing this for the welfare of humanity. So this is something where you and I, anybody can do, if only we have some chitta shuddhi. Then the second step is shama damadi shatka sampatti. That shama is antarindriya nigraha. Then this yoga, practice of yoga is also there. Shama, dama, titiksha. And then Ashtanga Yoga also they say. Ashtanga Yoga is what? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So that is those eightfold path. In fact, Patanjali Yoga Darshana also has to be simultaneously studied by us along with this Gita Bhashyam. That of course we are not doing, because that will become too elaborate. But now and then we have to take references from that. So Patanjali Dhyana Yoga is what is described mostly in this sixth chapter. Particularly this Madhusudana Saraswati is very fond of that Dhyana Yoga. He goes into very great details about Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and he quotes each and every Yoga Sutra. So these two words I was saying, the yoga, in this sixth chapter, the word yoga means Dhyana Yoga, which is a next level to Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, if we take it as the first step, the second step is Dhyana Yoga. So for that, but that Dhyana Yoga, which is characterized by antarindriya nigraha, shama, dama and all those things, and then all those things they continue in a jnani also. So that is why it is called antaranga sadhana. After a person becomes a jnani also, all these things like shama, dama, this antarindriya nigraha, antarindriya means mind, nigraha, mind control, controlling our own mind, controlling our own emotions. So all those things automatically happen. So that continues in the case of a jnani. But Karma Yoga does not continue. Karma Yoga leads to some extent, and then this gets dropped off. So that is why Karma Yoga is called Bahiranga Sadhana. I think I told these two words called Antaranga Sadhana and Bahiranga Sadhana. Karma Yoga is there. It is like something like a chaprasi. He is something like an attender who will lead you up to the door of the king. And then he knocks the door, and then he will admit you inside, and then he will remain outside. So Karma Yoga is something like an attender which only leads from the main gate to the chamber of the king, and then make you enter the room, and then he remains outside. But Dhyana Yoga, where that self-discipline and all that will continue to be there for a Jnani also. So that is why it is called Antaranga Sadhana. So for that Dhyana Yoga, this Karma Yoga is a sadhana. So that is what is being told in that sixth chapter. That is what is quoted here. Yoga rudasya tasyaiva shamah karana uchyate ityanena utpanna samyak darshanasya karma yoga abhava vachanachya. So that first line says arurukshoha munehe yogam karma karana uchyate. So for one who has to attain that Dhyana Yoga, you need not see that thing, I will just explain. For one who has to attain that Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga is a tool. For one who wants to reach that second step, Karma Yoga is the first step. But after he reaches that first step, through this Karma Yoga, through this Karma Anushtana, he goes to the Dhyana Yoga level. Then what has to be practiced by him? then he has to practice self-discipline, that is Shama, Dama, Shama means Antarindriya Nigraha, Dama is Bahyendriya Nigraha. So these things have to be practiced by that gentleman. So for somebody who has reached that second level, then Karma Abhava Vachanat, that is what is the meaning here. Yoga Rudasya Tasyeva Shamah Karanam Uchyate Ityanena Cha Utpanna Samyak Darshanasya Karma Yoga Abhava Vachanat. Karma Yoga Abhava means the absence of Karma Yoga. You followed this line? So next line, Shariram Kevalam Karma Kurvan
Shariram Kevalam Karma Kurvan
Iticha Sharira Sthitikarana Vyatirikta Karmanaha Nivaranat. Then we have also seen in the 4th chapter, in the case of a jnani, Shariram Kevalam Kurva Karman Apnoti Kilbisham. That is what it said. That is, a jnani is supposed to do only that much action which is prescribed, which is required for the maintenance of his body, for the maintenance of his daily routine. That is just, as we were just discussing, just going out to take some bhiksha. And bhiksha also he should not be selective. I was telling, he should not have a daily planner. So today in this man's house there is a function, I will go and have some better bhiksha. Today in this gentleman's house there is some marriage going on, so I will go and have some better, some nice food there. So there should not be like, it should not be like that. This bhiksha has to be at random. And in fact, in all varnas, a sannyasi, he has to accept bhiksha from all the varnas and at random. He has to take bhiksha from some Brahmin's house, he has to take from Shudra's house, he has to take from Vaishya's house, all such places. He has to take bhiksha indiscriminately, because he has risen above. He has risen above this, ashrama and varna. Ativarnashrami he is called. That is, a jnani is an Ativarnashrami, one who transcends this varna ashrama distinction. So he is in that stage. So for him, Shariram Kevalam Karma. So karma abhava. So for him, there is no question of karma yoga. So that is what is the meaning here. Sharira Sthiti Karana Vyatirikta. That is, in addition to accepting for, that is accepting for karma which is required for maintenance of his daily action, all other karmanaha nivaranat. Nivarana means all that has been excluded, all that has been denied to him, all that has been excluded in his case. Then naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tattvavit ityanena cha sharira sthitimattra prayukteshvapi darshana shravanadi karmasu atma yathatmya vidaha naham karomi iti pratyayasya samahita chetastaya sada kartavyatva upadeshat. What does your text say? Sada kartavyatva akarya. Yeah. Sada kartavyatva upadeshat. Fine. So even in those actions, a jnani is only permitted to do those actions which are just required for maintenance of his body. And even in those actions, what should be his feeling? So we are going to get another shloka in the same 5th chapter. Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Tattvavit means a person who has got a proper understanding. What should be his attitude to the other? What will be? It automatically happens in the case of a jnani. It is not something which is a deliberate, it is not something which is deliberate on his part. It automatically happens because already he has undergone all this process of self-control. So what is his attitude to that? Naiva kinchit karomi. That is, I am not the doer. I am naiva kinchit karomi. Na eva, naiva. Kinchit karomi. I am not doing anything. That is the meaning. Na eva na kinchit karomi eva. I am just not doing anything. Iti yuktaha manyeta tattvavit. Yuktaha means jnana yuktaha, jnana yogena yuktaha. That is one who is in that state of awareness. His approach to his actions is like that. What? Yukto manyeta tattvavit. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprushan, Jighran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwasan. So he describes all these actions, various actions which a human being performs are described in those 6th chapter. not 6th chapter, this 5th chapter only, 8th and 9th shlokas, 8th, 9th and 10th shlokas, they describe all actions. That is, Naiva Kinchit Karomi iti yukto manyeta tattvavitu, Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprushan, Jigran, Pashyan, while seeing, Shrunvan, while listening, Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprushan, while touching something, Jigran, that is while inhaling something, while say Ghrana means that is something with inhaling some smell. So all sensory actions, all these sensory actions are described there. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprushan, Jigran, Ashdan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwasan, all physical actions also, all actions which are done by the Jnanendriyas and all actions which are done by the Karmendriyas, moving from one place to another, all these things. Then what should be his attitude? Indriyani indriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. So that is the final line of that shloka. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. That is, these indriyas, these senses, they are just getting attracted, not even attracted, they are just attending to the indriya arthas. That is, the body is there, body requires some food. So naturally this annamaya kosha requires some other annam in order to sustain it. So this body is taking that food. So that is his action, that is his attitude. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. So of course breathing is something which is an involuntary action. Then some food he takes or some other water he drinks. So this is indriyani. So he is at that stage only. So he should not aspire for some nice drink and then some Scotch whiskey or something like that, and then he should not have this feeling. If he takes some Scotch whiskey and if he feels that indriyani indriyartheshu vartante, then he is only a hypocrite. When he has to take some kupodakam, he has to just go and then whatever water is available in some tank or a river or whatever it is, he takes, that's all. When he wants some Scotch whiskey, then which means that ego has entered in him. He is no longer a jnani. So that is what we have to see. So hypocrite is very clearly identified. If we read Gita and also Gita Bhashyam, you can easily identify who is a hypocrite and who is a person who can be who is genuine. So that is the picture here. So the jnani's attitude in all the physical actions is that naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Then what will be his attitude? His attitude will be indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. All these indriyas, they are functioning according to their some basic needs, let us say. Apart from the basic needs of these indriyas, nothing else is taking place. So that is the meaning. Ityanena cha sharira sthiti-matra prayukteshvapi. Even in those actions, what are those actions? Darshana, Sravanadi karmasu. Darshana, seeing, Sravana, listening, Ityadi karmasu. In such actions, Atma Adhyatma Vidya, that is in the case of a person who is an Atma Jnani, Na aham karomi iti pratyayasya samahita chetastaya. That pratyaya, that understanding. Pratyaya means understanding. What is that understanding? Na aham karomi. I am not the doer. So that is the understanding. With that understanding is samahita chetaha. That is very firm. Samyak adhiyate iti samadhihi. Samadhi, the meaning of samadhi is the mind is fixed in that. Samyak adhiyate manaha asmin iti samadhihi. So samahita, the word samahita comes from samadhi. That dha becomes a hita. There is some Panini Sutram, dadhatir hihi. So dha becomes a hita. We have heard the word purohita. What is the meaning of purohita? Someone who has been placed in front. Agre sthapitaha. Purohitaha does not mean somebody who wants a hitam to the puram. Puram and hitam are not, that is not the connection there. Purohita means, puraha means agre, dha, dadha, dha means that somebody who has been placed in front. So that man is a purohita. Purohita is somebody who leads us. So for example, for gods, Agni is supposed to be the purohita. For gods, Agni is said to be the purohita. So that is why Brahmins say Agnir Devata. Even in Sandhya Vandana you say Agnir Devata. So Agni, Agnim Krutva Purohitam. That is, Agni is somebody who goes in front. So that is, Purohita is somebody who leads in front, who is the person who gives directions, who gives all types of advice to the people. So that was the duty of a Purohita in olden days, not just coming and chanting some mantras and then taking some money. So unfortunately, the Purohit, they have forgotten their role. Purohita was a man who was a very well-read man who was guiding the society. He was the person who is placed in front. For good or bad, he is the man who has to go and then face the situation. So that was the role of a Purohita. Now Purohita is just summoned, hey Pantulu, come here. You finish this puja in half an hour. We have also seen one wedding recently where the bride and the bridegroom, they dictated to the Purohit, you have to finish it in 1 hour. We don't have more time than this. You please finish it in 1 hour. So okay, the Purohit, what will he do? So he completed the ritual in 1 hour, and then of course these fellows, they gave some money, and then he went away. So that is the role of a Purohit. Now it is totally changed. So this hita comes from dha dhatu. So samahita comes from the word samadhi. So he is in that firm understanding that I am not the doer. So this person who is this jnani, he is in that firm understanding, naham karomi iti pratyayah. So he is in that firm mind. Sada, he has to be in that function, he has to perform his actions in that manner. In all this darshana shravanadi karmasu, naham karomi iti pratyayase samahita chetastaya sada kartavyatva upadeshat. It has also been told like that in the earlier lines. The next line, atma tattva vidaha samyak darshana viruddha.
Samyak darshana viruddha.
Okay, samyak darshana viruddha mithya jnana hetukha karma yogaha.
Mithya jnana hetukah karma yogah.
Swapnepi na sambhavayitum shakyate.
Swapnepi na sambhavayitum shakyate.
Okay. So he says, so that is why with all these reasons, he said for this, all these sentences ending in Panchami Vibhakti. Karma yogasya vidhanat, then darshanat, then nivaranat. So all these sentences, they ended in Panchami Vibhakti. Because of this, then Atma Tattva Vidaha, then Samyak Darshana Viruddha Karma Yogaha Swapnepi na Sambhavayitum Shakyate. Even in a dream, you can't visualize this Karma Yoga in the case of a jnani. That is the meaning of that. In the case of a jnani, even in dream, you should not visualize, you should not think of application of Karma Yoga for such a person. So Karma Yoga applies to only an Anatmavit, one who is still in that process, one who is still in the pipeline. One who is still in the pipeline for that Jnana Nishtha, he can't say Jnani he cannot come back to the pipeline. He has gone through the pipeline and then he has reached that final stage. So that is the meaning here. So Samyak Darshana Viruddha Mithya Jnana Hetukaha. Again and again Shankaracharya is pointing out, Karma Yoga is what is this? Samyak Darshana Viruddha. This is something which is contradictory to Samyak Darshana. Then Mithya Jnana Hetukaha. It has been caused by erroneous understanding. Mithya Jnana Hetukaha. Mithya Jnanam Hetuhu Yasya Tat. That is Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga is something which is the product of Mithya Jnana, product of erroneous understanding. So these two adjectives have been given. So this type of Karma Yoga cannot be applicable to Jnani even in a dream. So that is the final conclusion. Then Yasmat Tasmat Anatmavit Kartrukayoreva Sannyasa Karmayogayoho Nishreyasa Karatva Vachanam Tadiyacha Karma Sannyasat Purvokta Atmavit Kartruka Sarva Karma Sannyasa Vilakshanaat Satyeva Kartrutva Vijnane Karmaika Desha Vishayat. We'll stop here. So Yasmat Tasmat. Yasmat applies to all the sentences which have been told above. That is because of this. Tasmat, therefore, for all the reasons which have been told above. Yasmat Tasmat, for all the reasons which have been told above. Anatmavit Kartrukayoreva Karma Sannyasa Karma Yoga Yoho. Now the discussion is of the two subjects, that is Sannyasa and Karma Yoga. And this Sannyasa and Karma Yoga which we are discussing, they are say Anatmavit Kartrukayoho. We are discussing the case of an anatmavit. We are discussing the case of somebody who is not a realized person. If somebody who is an unrealized person who is doing karma yoga, who has two options before him, that is karma yoga and karma sannyasa. We are only discussing these two options in the case of an anatmavit. So in that case only, nishreyasa karatva vachanam, which is better? The discussion regarding which one is better, which one is nishreyasa karam. Nishreyasa karam is which is leading to that final goal. Then tadiyacha karma sannyasat satyeva kartrutva vijnane karmaika desha vishayatvat. Then kartrutva vijnana is there, where even in this karma sannyasa, suppose he does karma sannyasa, an anatmavit does karma sannyasa, then kartrutva vijnanam is very much there. That is, he knows that he is going for bhiksha, he knows that he is doing a particular thing. Then kartrutva abhimana is very much there in the case of an agnya sannyasa. We are having two types of sannyasis here. One is a jnani sannyasi, one is agnya sannyasi. Agnya or ajnani sannyasi, let us say. This jnani sannyasi, he does not have that kartrutva feeling. Whereas ajnani sannyasi, he is having that kartrutva bhavana, that is the doership. The idea of doership is very much there. So that is why karmaika desha vishayasya. So he has only done partial abandoning or partial renunciation, let us say. Karmaika desha vishayasya. Karma sannyasa of an anatmagnya, you can note down, karma sannyasa of an anatmagnya is only a partial renunciation. Karmaika desha vishayam. Karmaika desha vishaya. I will explain that word. Karma sannyasa of an ajnani is only a partial renunciation. Karma sannyasat satyeva kartrutva vijnane karmaika desha vishayat. Karmaika desha. This word eka desha we have to understand. Karma plus eka desha becomes karmaika desha. Karmanaha eka desha karmaika desha. Eka desha means only a part of it. So a part of karma he is doing and a part of karma he is abandoning. An ajnani who takes up sannyasa, he is only renouncing certain daily duties. He has given up his family, he has taken permission from his wife and children, and then not children, of course, one who wants to take up sannyasa, we have to take permission from our wives. We have to convince them and then we have to tell them and then go. So that is also part of Dharma Shastra. Then we have to again, there are other duties relating to the family, settlement of disputes and then family disputes and then property disputes and all these things, he is free from that. So karmaika desha he has left. But the remaining karma is very much there, like going and then setting up some small kutira. Kutira means some small hut he has to have. Then he will again go for bhikshatana. When he goes for bhikshatana, he has that kartrutva bhavana. That kartrutva bhavana has not disappeared from him. So that so long as that kartrutva abhimana is there, it is only a partial renunciation. So in the case of an anatmagya. Then Purvokta Atmavit Kartruka Sannyasa Sarva Karma Sannyasa Vilakshanat. This is something which is totally distinguished from the Atmavit Kartruka Sannyasa. This sentence is a rather complicated sentence, so that is why I have taken this line, this word, Purvokta Atmavit Kartruka Sarva Karma Sannyasa Vilakshanat. That particular clause, let us say, that particular phrase, I have taken it in a sort of parenthesis. So this karma sannyasa of an anatmagnya has to be distinguished from the karma sannyasa of an atmagnya, and atmagnya is Atmavit Kartruka Sarva Karma Sannyasa Vilakshanat. That is something which is totally separate. That is something which is totally distinguished and then totally unique. Then Satyeva Kartrutva Vijnane means it has to be understood as Kartrutva Vijnane Sati. That is, Kartrutva Vijnana is very much there. That is, the feeling of doership is very much there in the case of this person. Then Yama Niyamadi Sahitattvena cha, this we have to read. Yama Niyamadi Sahitattvena cha,
Yama Niyamadi Sahitattvena cha,
Duranustheyat, Sukaratvena cha, Karma Yogasya, Vishishtatva Abhidhanam, Ityevam, Prativachana Vakyartha Nirupanenapi, Purvoktaha
पूर्वोक्तः
प्रष्टुः अभिप्रायः
प्रष्टुः अभिप्रायः
निश्चीयते इति स्थितम्. So he is again making a comparison between the Dhyana Yoga. 1 minute. Okay, we'll finish this line. He is making again a comparison between the Dhyana Yoga, which is the next step, superior step, which requires or which involves Yama, Niyama, Adi, Sahitattvena cha. Then this Jnana Yoga, this Jnani sannyasi, this Jnani sannyasa, that is the renunciation of a Jnani, is characterized by Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, all these things. They are all part and parcel of his behavior. He does not consciously cultivate. Initially, one starts cultivating in a conscious manner. Initially, first step is Karma Yoga. Then after Karma Yoga, you have to consciously cultivate Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, etc. After you consciously practice them over a period of time, then Abhyasa, that is what is called Abhyasa. After a long period of Abhyasa, then it becomes part and parcel of your nature. It becomes your nature. Then at that stage only you do this Shravana, Manana and all these things, and then you become a realized person. So all these things like Yama, Niyama and all these things, they are all again very difficult processes. The more easiest thing is Karma Yoga. Easiest thing is just you change your attitude to your work. You just change your attitude to work and then reflect on the Upanishad Vakyas if possible. So that is good enough for an ordinary man. Then the next step is Yama Niyama Sahitattvena cha Duranushteya. In the case of a Jnani, all these Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama, they become part of his nature, isn't it? So because of that, Duranushteyat, it is very, very difficult to perform. In the case of an ordinary man, Duranushteya, that is difficult to perform. Then Sukaratvena cha Karma Yogasya. That is Karma Yogasya Sukaratvena. Karma Yoga is something which is easier. Sukaram is that which can be done easily. Su plus karam. Sushtu karaniyam. Sushtu kartum yogyam. Karma Yoga is something which is very, very simple to perform. Then that is why Karma Yogasya Vishishtatva Abhidhanam. Because it is very, very easy to perform, it has been praised by Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is not, he is just praising. Like you praise a 5th class boy, you have done well. 5th class boy, you just praise him. But that does not mean the 5th class, the passing in 5th class is the ultimate. So that is like that. Karma Yogasya Vishishtatvam, it has been praised only in that context. We have to understand it only in that manner. Vishishtatva Abhidhanat. Vishishtatva means importance, or okay, well done, that is a pat, let us say. Vishishtatva Abhidhanam ityevam prativachana vakyartha nirupanena api. Prativachana vakyartham. Whose prativachana? Prativachana means reply. Lord Krishna is replying to whatever Arjuna's doubt. Lord Krishna, what is he replying? Lord Krishna is replying, Karma Yoga is superior to this Karma Sannyasa, he says. Then he is not talking about a Jnani's Karma Sannyasa, he is talking about Ajnani's Karma Sannyasa. So we have to see from the reply given by Lord Krishna, we have to see what is the question, what is the question of Arjuna. That is the analysis all through which is going on. Karma Yoga Prativachana Vakyartha Nirupanena api Purvoktah Prashtuhu Abhiprayah Nishchiyate. Prashtuhu Abhiprayah. Prashta, who is the Prashta here? Prashta means one who questions. Prashtuhu is Shashti Vibhakti of that. Prashta is questioner. Who is the questioner here? Arjuna. Prashtuhu Abhiprayah. What is Arjuna's Abhipraya here? Prashtuhu Abhiprayah. That is Arjunasya Abhiprayah. The opinion of Arjuna. What is in the mind of Arjuna? So that is what Arjuna, that has to be understood by analyzing the meaning, by analyzing the reply given by Lord Krishna. Prativachana Vakyartha Nirupanena api. Nirupana means analyzing, scrutinizing. Nirupana means proper scrutinizing. Purvoktah Prashtur Abhiprayah Nishchiyate iti sthitam. So what we have told about what is there in Arjuna's mind, that is something which has to be taken as correct. That is the correct interpretation. You cannot give any other interpretation. It is sthitam. So this Sambandha Bhashya is over. I think tomorrow we will take up the first shloka. First shloka I had just mentioned initially, but then we will formally take up the first shloka. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.